Here we are in the Creative Kitchen, and we're reviewing how to paint the windows for the Heroes set. This will be a cityscape, and we're going to paint the windows first, and then paint or outline those windows with a black marker, and then paint the negative space with black, thus completing the window. You can see on the layout here, there are squares. And you'll see, for example, here there's a blank square. Here there's squares that have X's, and so on. So how do you know what to paint? We're going to paint the squares that have the X inside. So X marks the spot. So I'm going to use brown mustard. It's a color right out of the can. I'm not using any medium. I'm not thinning it down with water. And I'm just going to unload. These are smaller squares. So I'm going to unload the paint off the brush. Probably dip a little bit more there. And we're not going to try to cut in these lines or anything. You're just going to go ahead and overpaint those lines. And you say, well, how will I know how to outline the windows when we're done? Well, as you will see, may not show up as well in the video because of the zoom capability, but basically you are going to be able to see those layout lines underneath those windows, under this paint, that is. It's going to come right back through. So don't worry, you can see. Obviously you don't want to overpaint your building line, so be conscious of what you're doing, but don't feel too bound in by being exact here with these windows. So, you know, these are smaller windows. Some of the windows are 4 inches by 10 inches. They're huge. These are medium size, and so while this is still damp and tacky, I'm going to take an artist brush here, and I have some Venetian Red straight out of the jar. That's the this acrylic Venetian Red, and I'm going to go back here, and now I'm just going to kind of do some swiping here. All right, and I'm going to lay some of that off. I'm being consistent with the bottom right-hand corner. I'm going to do a gradient going up. I put a lot of red on my brush there, which is almost too much. So what I would recommend is some sort of blending brush. If you have to or want to, you can do a little spot of medium. I don't personally think you really need it, but it will help with the blending. You can see how pretty that looks. So if you need a little bit of medium, put a little bit on there, and you can see if I need more paint, I can pick it up here, blend it up. So the rule of thumb is you want to be no longer than about 30 to 45 seconds on a window. So here's a case where it's starting to dry out, where I can see that blending medium is helpful because it gives me a nice gradient. Don't worry about trying to match the windows exactly. The overall effect is you have this dark yellow window with a orange, like a burnt orange shadow or darkened area in the bottom right corner, and it fades up. And so once all this is done, it's going to look great. On this video, I won't be able to show you the paint marker, but we'll let this dry, and then we're going to take a black paint marker, like so, and we'll end up outlining each of these windows. And once all that's done, someone can come along and start to paint in the negative spaces black. So that's the first step on how to paint the windows.